Hello everyone, welcome to Home of Interior Design Tips. My name is Latifa Lak, and today I am going to be taking you through 10 tips to add character to your rental apartment. I know that this is something that may be a bit confusing sometimes, especially if it's your first time maybe owning or renting a space and you clearly don't have an idea on what to do, and sometimes maybe also scary because you're scared of like tackling things or even changing things in that space and then end up paying for replacements and all that. So you also have to be very careful, but then again remember that this is a space that you've also rented, and this space definitely needs to feel like home, and it definitely needs to reflect your personality and reflect who you are. So a good way is definitely by using your design style and incorporating it in that rental apartment. So what are some of these things that you can actually do to bring in character and personalize that rental apartment to feel like yours? Well, I have a few tips for you, and I really hope that they get to help you, and I hope that you get to implement most of them, if not all, at least a few of them you get to use in your own space and make that significant change in that particular space that you have or you've rented out. So while it's true that you likely won't be able to make any major changes to the existing fixtures or layout, there are plenty of ways to personalize a rental and make it feel like yours. Temporary updates such as plug-in sconces or peel and stick tiles can bring tons of style, but it's typically best to get approval from your landlord before embarking on a project. If you're updating in a way that will bring value, the majority of landlords will not only approve but be grateful for your work. So if this is something that you're looking forward to understanding and being able to implement in your own space, that would definitely ask and urge that you keep watching till the end of the video, because at the end of the day you're going to have an idea on how to bring in character to your own rental apartment. So with no further ado, let's jump right in. So changing hardware is one of the most important things that you can actually do in a space, and the reason why I'm saying this is because like sometimes we tend to ignore certain small things in rental apartments, and if only we knew the big impact they do make in those spaces, then we'll definitely make the changes that are needed or the necessary changes needed at the end of the day. So for instance, one of the rooms that is definitely going to benefit most in these hardware changes is definitely the kitchen, and then followed with the bathroom and maybe the bedroom in terms of the wardrobe pulls and all that. For the kitchen, make sure that you change and swap out old kitchen pulls or hardware pulls and try to replace with something that is much affordable, especially if you're on a budget and you don't really want to spend a lot considering that it's a rental. So you can always go to your nearest hardware store and pick cabinet pulls that are available. Choose something that you feel that is comfortable in terms of paying and budget wise, and if it's not within the color that maybe you're looking for, or that is not integrating well with the design style you have, then you can always incorporate something like spray paint. In this way it's going to you won't even know the color that it was originally, and this makes a very good and a great way to to lift the value of something that was in a different color and such things. You also save those old pulls that you replace from the kitchen, so that when you're leaving or even moving to a different apartment, you're able to replace them. But then again, if you're generous enough and your landlord allows, then you can always leave them for the next tenant to enjoy them as well. Replacing your switch plates is definitely another way to make or bring in a great character in your rental apartment. So I know this happens a lot, and 99.9% of us fall as victims, I included, because you find that when you get into a rental apartment or even buying a house, you'll find that most switch plates that are used are the plastic ones, and you mostly find them in white or in the yellowish color sort of a thing. We tend to be ignorant on this area, or I would say for lack of knowledge, we think that they're supposed to be like that. Well, if you feel comfortable and you feel they're okay and they're integrating well with your decorating style, then well and good, you can always leave them. But if you're that kind of a person who really wants that high-end look and high-end finish, then definitely I recommend that you go ahead and switch those switch plates with something else that looks better and of better quality at the end of the day. Again, the good thing and the advantage of using metal switch plates is that you can always spray paint them and make them look similar to the design style that is going on in that particular space or that particular rental apartment that you have. So this is a great way to bring in some nice coziness, and of course you'll find it's a small detail here and there, but it really makes a big difference at the end of the day, and you'll definitely feel that change in that particular space. You want your space to feel different and unique from the rest of other apartments that are near you, and you definitely want your guests to come in and get that wow factor at the end of the day. It may seem like a small thing, but at the end of the day, you will notice the big impact it brings, even in terms of the mood that it brings in the house. So adding a ceiling medallion is another way to bring in a great character in your space. And mostly when you go to your nearest hardware, this is the place that you're definitely going to get them. You'll find them in plastic, and a few here and there you're definitely going to find them maybe in cement, made of cement and all that. But the ones that I would recommend, because it's not a lot of work and they're definitely cheap to buy, are the plastic medallion for your ceiling. Try to go for a unique design that you can find there, and this is also a design that incorporates very well with traditional design stylers, rustic design stylers and all that. But then again, if you still want to incorporate different design style in your home, then definitely go for that medallion ceiling decorative accent piece, because it's definitely going to lift the look of that space and give it some character. So try as much as you can to come up with great designs that you can do for your ceiling. Another thing that you also need to consider is when you're doing a medallion ceiling object is mostly they come in white. So don't be scared because maybe it may not match with what you're going for. A unique way to personalize it and make it look high value is by spray painting it, or even painting it with a fresh coat of paint. At the end of the day, it's going to integrate well with the furniture and with each and every object that is going on in your house, or even with your design style. Again, you don't have to go for the medallion ceiling object. You can always be creative and look for something else different. Try to be as creative as you can to just create something nice around your light fixture. In that way, it brings in some character and makes it feel like it's custom made, extremely different from the rest of the other houses that are around you. Installing peel and stick tiles is definitely another way to bring in character to your house. When your dream kitchen is out of reach, peel and stick tiles is your shortcut to getting that look that maybe you've been admiring and wishing to have in your own space. So peel and stick is definitely a solution that is very affordable and something that can actually transform a space in minutes and give it a very nice and good wow factor. So one thing that I've noticed with rental apartments is that sometimes you really find bright and very unique characters in those styles that are put there. Sometimes you even wonder, like, how do you even start decorating this kitchen? But the good thing is that you can always cover those with the peel and stick and definitely get the look that you want, and of course just transitioning everything to fit into your design style. So these peel and sticks are all over the place. You can get them online, hardware stores, interior design shops, etc, and all that. So the list is endless. It's up to you to to look for tiles that integrate well with your design style, because there are variety, there are different textures, there are different styles that you can always pick and incorporate them in your own design style, to fit your the kind of theme that you're going for per se in your room. The good thing is that if you bought with that particular peel and stick tiles, you can always remove them by or drying them and allowing the adhesive glue to soften up, and then removing them and replacing with something else that is totally different. And if you feel maybe that is too much for you, or maybe you don't have that time to do the peel and stick, then there's also another solution. But this one now, I think it's something that you really need to get consent from your landlord, because it's quite a process, and you need to paint your tiles with latex paint, which is the water-based paint, and there's a process before you start painting actually for the paint to stick, so you have to be very careful. So if you're interested in painting your tiles, then there are a variety of videos out there that you can look for and try to understand how to go about it and be able to do that for your for your backsplash. Shower heads are something that I think is super common when it comes to changing. So many of us are changing our shower heads as often as possible, and maybe you may hear me saying this and thinking that, oh, this is not a new thing, I've definitely done this, or I've seen someone doing it and all that. But one thing you don't know is that it actually brings in a very good character to your space. So if it's something that you've never considered, then I would really recommend that you go for it. Try to change the plastic shower heads that you normally get in rental apartments and replace it with something that is amazing. The good thing about high-end shower heads is that they are in variety of colors, sizes, and styles, and that is the advantage that is out there that you can choose from, and of course fit the look that you're going for, and integrate very well with the design style that is going on in your space. When you're going to buy your shower heads, don't just go for any shower head, go for something that is high-end. And the good thing and the advantage of this is actually you're going to move with it when you move houses, so you can always move with it and go and put it in that next house that you're definitely going to move in. So when you're investing in a shower head, I will definitely advise that now here you can go and splurge and definitely buy something that is expensive, something that is high-end, because this is something that is going to last you longer, and avoid buying shower heads as often. So that is actually a great tip on saving, and also like killing two birds with one stone at the end of the day. So try to consider that and see how that goes for you. And don't forget that you need to save up that shower head that you found, so that you make sure to replace it when you're leaving. In that way, if you don't keep it safe, at the end of the day, you either are forced to leave the shower head that you bought, or buy another shower head that is similar to what you found and all that. So at the end of the day, you find that it becomes a bit costly, and that is what you're trying to avoid at the end of the day. Updating your lighting situation in your rental is definitely a way to go, and a way to give in some character to your space. And the reason why I'm saying this is because mostly you find that when you're in a rental space, the light that is there is the ceiling lighting, and sometimes if you're lucky, you'll find there's wall sconce lighting, and I think that's it. So another way, because you don't really want to invest on something that is permanent, you can always invest in a table lamp, or even in a floor lamp. And the good thing about this is that it's going to elevate and illuminate that space and make it look more spacious and brighter and cozy and very inviting at the same time. And also another advantage of this is that at the end of the day, when you invest in these kind of lightings, you're definitely going to move with them. So that means that at the end of the day, no matter where you go, you're going to move with your things. So you don't really need to get new things or invest on new things, and you've not really done any damage to that particular house that will force you to spend more money to recreate it the way you found it and such things. Also, just to add on the window treatment, I have talked about this on my previous video on how to make a small space look bigger. I'm going to leave a card up here where you can watch it and understand in details. So when it comes to window treatment, try to make sure that your curtain rod is near the ceiling and as wide as possible away from the curtain frame. In this way, the light is coming in, and it's bringing in a lot of airiness and freshness to the space. And also, if you have to go for linens, I would advise that you try to avoid dark linens. Go for linens that light and are also able to not light through for lack of better words. So that is another way that you can also try to play around with lighting situation in your space, and this is definitely going to bring in some character in your space. Your mirrors is definitely another great way to add character in your space. I know we've talked about this before. Again, on my previous video you'll find where I speak about mirrors in your space, and the reason why I'm speaking about it now is because I think mirrors really bring in character in your space and make that space look really beautiful. But now the difference about mirrors in a rental space is that they're actually there. Sometimes they're small and sometimes they're not so functional, and if you're able to find a mirror that is not functional to you or even meeting your needs, then I would recommend replacing it with something that is more functional. And the good thing about mirrors is that they're not expensive. They're actually very affordable, and it's something that you can customize to your own liking and to your own size to serve the purpose that you want it to serve. So framing your mirrors, don't just leave them as the way the landlords do in their rental apartments. Try to frame it, try to personalize it, and try to make it fit your own needs and of course fit your own style. Another thing that I find that is very amazing about framing mirrors is that mirrors, they serve the purpose of you looking at yourself in the mirror, trying to see how beautiful you are, trying to just check yourself out and all that. But other than that, mirrors also serve as a beauty object in your house. They serve as an accent object in your space, and they also bring in light in your space as well. So there are so many things that mirrors do to your space, and you feel that the mirror that is in that apartment is not working for you, then you can always replace it with a larger or a bigger mirror that is definitely going to serve you in so many other aspects other than just one purpose at the end of the day. So repainting your walls, I know we've talked about this again on my previous video. We talked about choosing your color right or choosing your paint wisely, and the reason is because when it comes to a small space, I was really emphasizing on looking for a bright color that will make or give an illusion that the space looks bigger. But in this particular video, it's more about choosing the right color in terms of maybe giving your walls a fresh coat of paint. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you find that when you move into a rental apartment, mostly the colors that you find on the wall are, I think, creamish and yellowish landlord paint. If you know, you know. So these are the paints that are the common paints that are found, and they're not so pleasing to be honest. They're not paints that you can say you really they make you feel cozy, or they give you that vibe of a homey feel in your space. So you want to replace them with a fresh coat of paint that actually works best for that particular space. So in this area, if you have a big space, I would not restrict you by insisting you go for white paint. You can always go for a different paint that works for you better. And I would also recommend that you try to consider neutral colors, because I think those work really well in so many layouts of rooms and spaces, and they still give you that nice fresh feel to your space, giving you some airiness to the environment and definitely giving it some coziness at the end of the day. So try to be very skeptical about this, and also remember that certain paints absorb light instead of reflecting, hence leading to a moody vibe in the room, and giving an aspect of maybe the room is smaller and all that. So try to be wise when choosing, and also consider the purpose that particular room serves at the end of the day. Personalizing your furniture layout is something that I feel that is very important, and it's because you find that, especially for the common wananchi today, when when you're living in a rental apartment, what you find is a living room, no designated area for a dining area, bedroom, maybe it's 1 or 2 bedrooms, and then a kitchen, a bathroom, and a washroom. So at the end of the day, you find that you don't really have enough space. It's actually possible to lay out your living room in a way that will give you enough space to create a space for dining area. I've come to appreciate that fact of just having a designated area for for eating, and also a designated area for entertainment only. You don't want to mix that up at the end of the day. So what I can advise is try to measure your furniture before you put them in your spaces. In that way, you're able to actually work with your space and know how the furniture is going to fit, where you're going to put your dining area, etc. It doesn't necessarily have to be a big dining area. I think that is where we mostly go wrong. We want a big dining area, but yet we have a small space. So try to work with your space. If your space is not so big, also try to come up with a way that you can have a smaller dining area that that is workable, that is still giving you space to move around in your living room. You also don't need to get a lot of furniture in your living space. You can get a 3-seater if you're a small family. If you're 2 people in the house, then I don't think you need so many furniture at the end of the day. So try to avoid too much furniture in your space, overcrowding the space and making the space look small. When you're in a rental space, try to go for neutral furnitures. In this way, you're able to change your design styles once in a while. So in that way, it gives you, it puts you in a motion where you're just not stuck in one design style, and it really makes the space feel really entertaining and very, very interesting at the end of the day, giving you that excitement, to want to be in that particular space. So I think that's it for today, and those were my 10 top tips on how to give your rental apartment some character. I really hope you enjoyed listening to this, and I really hope that at the end of the day you get to pick a few, if not all, and implement them in your own spaces. Other than that, I really hope that I get to see you on my next video. Have a wonderful day, and till next time, bye.